welcome to Convocation. Please come and settle in. We've got a very full program for today, and as always, we start off with a few announcements, and it looks like Tobias is up first.
All right, good morning. It's Josiah here with Intramurals. We are starting 3v3 basketball next week, so sign up on the app. It is open. We have you can have 4 people on your team max, and then we'll have gift card and T-shirt for prizes. And Sri Lanka on top of Australia. Yeah.
Thanks, Josiah. Hello, everybody. Did you know that if you make a poem or a short story or a personal essay or a really good drawing, that you could submit it to our literary magazine called Yop? I really think, yeah. If you would like to, please do. Send your submissions to yop@bethelks.edu. I have about 5 submissions so far, but I would love to see some more coming in. I can't wait to see your guys' work. Thank you.
DIVCO and SAC have an event this Tuesday, Lunar New Year, in the 1887 at 7:30. There will be smoothies and Jeopardy and a few other things.
Okay, so the admissions team just wanted to remind everybody that if you signed up to go on a campus tour, it is happening this week. You need to check your emails. There'll be details and reminders in there to tell you when and where to meet. We'll be sharing Bethel history, ghost stories, and if you don't know where places like the CAD and the new wellness counselor is, and this is the tour for you. There will also be giveaways for students who attend and an EE hour given to students that attend as well. There's still time to join. If you want to come to one of these times, just meet in Mann's Library and you'll get signed up and you'll get entered into all these things. And then finally, if you're interested in becoming a student ambassador and a tour guide, please see Missy Green in the admissions building. Thank you.
All right. I want to note something. Our clock on the wall, the minute hand is correct, but the hour hand is wrong. So if you're worried about the clock being off, we're still going to be okay. This morning's convocation is part of Mennonite Central Committee and Anabaptist Climate Collaborative's Global Voices Speaking Tour. This year's speaking tour features Dr. Arfour Rahman, and the MCC Coordinator of Food Security and Livelihoods in Bangladesh, and David Waiswa, the MCC East Africa and Sahel Region Peace Advocacy Monitoring and Evaluation Coordinator. Dr. Rahman earned his Doctor of Philosophy in Agricultural Entomology from Bangladesh Agricultural University, has been published in over 12 reputable scientific journals, and has been serving with MCC, or Mennonite Central Committee's Bangladesh region since 2003. He's contributed 22 years to the socio-economic development of marginalized rural communities and began his journey with MCC by providing technical support to farm families and currently holds the position of Food Security and Livelihoods Coordinator. In this role, he leads both large and small-scale projects, some of which are funded by the Canadian Food Grains Bank. David Waiswa currently serves as the East Africa and Sahel Regional Peace Advocacy Monitoring and Evaluation Coordinator with Mennonite Central Committee, where he provides technical guidance and strategic leadership to 6 country programs, including Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Ethiopia, South Sudan, and Chad, in the areas of peace building, advocacy, and strengthening M&E systems. Before joining MCC, David worked with the International Rescue Committee, serving as Senior Justice and Peace Officer, and later as Protection Manager with displaced communities in Uganda. Together, Dr. Rahman and Mr. Waiswa will share how communities are navigating unpredictable weather patterns, drought, flood, and heat through climate adaptation and peace building. Speaking to questions like, what is the connection between climate and peace? How does the changing climate drive conflict or make it worse? Can peace building help communities become more climate resilient? Please join me in welcoming to the stage Dr. Rahman and Mr. Weiswa to Bethel College. Looks like Dr. Rahman will speak first.
Good morning, all. It's a really nice time for me. I'm happy to be part of this discussion and happy to be part of this Global Voice speaking tour. Already it is mentioned, but again, I'm Arifur Rahman. I'm working for Mennonite Central Committee Bangladesh as a Food Security and Livelihood Sectors Coordinator. Yes, I'm so happy that I see a lot of students who are from Gen Z, and I like this really. Just I'm happy to share with my family, my wife, my daughter, and my son. In yes, the time, years, months, seconds that I'm enjoying with Mennonite Central Committee. Just through a short visit, through a short tour, just I would like to take you all people to our country, to our region, to be connected with climate action and peace. What is happening there? What are the challenges there? What we are doing currently, and what are the hopes for our future? I would like to share with you. Bangladesh is a densely populated country. And the population and the country is the red area you see, very tiny country. 148,000 square kilometer area only, but the population is 177 million and 135 people per square kilometer. So think that how densely populated the area is. Just to mention, MCC has started its journey with Bangladesh since 1970 after a great devastating cyclone, and that actually got 500,000 people got died that time, and MCC went there to support people. And since then, MCC had many good jobs, many unique things, like introduced many vegetable species in the country, like cabbage, carrot, cauliflower, soybeans are very unique things that was introduced by MCC in the country first. And MCC saw the deprived group of women who were segregated, who were separated, who were underprivileged in the community. So MCC started to do work with those women group first. And it's a vulnerable country, obviously. And if you see the rank, that is 9th most vulnerable country in the world. The rank is defined by the scientist, by the group of UN. Just to share the map. The blue lines all you see in the map, it's our country map. All are the rivers, big rivers, small rivers in the country. So we call it's a country of river. Many, many rivers inside the country. And we have a down position. By the Bay of Bengal side we are staying, and our upper side is actually India and Nepal. And Nepal has a series of mountains that is Himalayan, and it is actually covered with ice and snow. And because of increasing temperature, there is a glacier melt, and all the water are coming through India, going through our country to the Bay of Bengal. And because of this, actually, sometimes we're getting the problem that is intrusion of saline water. And it is covering nowadays, and it is increasing day by day the areas and getting intrusion in the fresh water. People are losing their land, losing their homestead, and many things are happening there. Could you please play the video? Just through some short video, I would like to get you the people there.
আমি নদীতে মাছ ধরি তাই দেখা যায় বেলা 12টার সময় আসি বেলা 2টো 2:30 পর্যন্ত টানি 2:30টার দিক থেকে চলে যাই ওঠে ওগুলো এমনি শারীরিক যত মাসে অতিরিক্ত লবণ পানিতে গায়ে চুলকানি বেরোয় এমনি শারীরিক সমস্যা হয় জরাইতে টিউমার জরাইতে ইনফেকশন এই সমস্তগুলো হয় কষ্টের পরে চলে
Yeah, this is a short story that is about Shahanara. As Shahanara is imposed now to get a job opportunity or livelihood opportunity, that is catching shrimp larvae from the river. And as she has to stay in the river, in the saline water for a long time, every day, that's why actually she's suffering from many kind of diseases, like uterus problems, skin diseases. And once actually she had to dissect her uterus, and that actually causes her family conflict. She wasn't able to continue her regular life with husband, and husband got second marriage, and there was a conflicting situation. Just I'd like to attaching you, that is, there is a climate problem. Because of this, there is saline intrusion in her river. And she is working there, and she got diseases. And these diseases actually take her to a conflicting situation in the family. And she's leading a actually problematic life. And yes, another small second story. Please.
আমার নাম হামিদা আমাদের বাড়ি ছিল ও নদীর ওই জায়গায় তা চলে গেছে গ্রাম মানে কোথায় ছিল আপনার বাড়ি নদীর ওই যে তার কাছে হ্যাঁ জায়গায় বাড়ি ছিল এই জায়গায় তিনখান ঘর ছিল পুকুর ছিল গাছ গাছাই ছিল তারপরে আমখানে চলে গেছে আর আমার বাড়ি করেছে
ভিতর মানে এই অনেক ভিতরে
শুধু কি আপনাদেরই বাড়ি ছিল না আমি বহুত মানুষের বাড়ি ছিল আর এই গাজিরা ছিল মিস্ত্রিটা ছিল আমরা তো মিস্ত্রি বহুত লোকের বাড়ি ছিল
This story just to get some idea. This is a story about Hamida. Hamida actually, she's totally displaced. Once she was showing that once her house somewhat far from this place, 4 or 5 kilometers far. But now she is totally displaced because of losing her land, and there are some climate issues. And she is staying now in a place that is not her own place, own land, but struggling with something for food security and for our nutrition security. So this is not only one Hamida or Shahanara. There are many, many Hamidas and Shahanara. And MCC has started to work with them people, actually, that how to do something, how to get something for their income, something alternative, so that they don't need to go to the saline water every time, or they don't need to be shifted every time. So MCC is working with them. And actually what is happening there? Just I would like to show some pictures over there. Already I mentioned, there is something that is saline water intrusion as the sea level is rising day by day. We have huge rain, heavy rain. Heavy rain was also earlier, but nowadays it is more intense. It is not like that. It is previously actually regular and a timely based, but now it is not timely based. Suddenly it happens, and sometimes actually unpredictable. And we have the health issues problem, like from the mosquito problem. Nowadays in our country, the dengue problem, the chikungunya fever problem, it's huge. And other diseases like skin diseases and also diseases for the plants and animals also we're getting. People of those areas who are mostly suffer, they have poor communication. They can send their children to the school or health center for good services. And for everything, their livelihood opportunities, their job opportunities is shrinking day by day. It is happening. And obviously there is displacement. You see a house there, but no people is there. Once it was, but they have been shifted to another area for their job. Frequent flood. As we are getting water through our country, through rivers, so we have a frequent flood. Earlier it was once or twice in a year and regular, but now it is 4 or 5 times in a year and unpredictable. Sometimes some kind of flash flood happens that is unpredictable and God damages many things. We have river erosion problem, and we are getting rain, we are getting flood, and at the same time in some parts of the country we are getting drought for both, for irrigation water and also for drinking water. Obviously there are job crisis. As people have displacement, they're going from one place to another place, and that becoming crowded, and the job opportunities is getting shrink, and obviously there are less of job opportunities. Sometimes extreme cold problem. It may be for several days, 1 week or 10 days, but actually our people, they can tolerate it. They're not used to. And actually that time they can go out for their work, and it impacts their food security or nutrition security. Also, same the extreme hot we face in summer season. The things actually nowadays we are facing, and we are terming it as the climate change and conflict. We have the climate change issues. It is not only the gossip, it is practical, it is reality. There are many, many evidences about climate changes that is taking all us to a conflicting situation in many ways. The surroundings are the causes that is related to climate change and conflicting situation. That is about the economic power, about the non-education things. People, they don't know in many ways. Displacement, political influences, lack of linkages. People are getting landless more day by day. There are gender issues, inequity. Early marriage is a problem. Minority issues there are. And also lack of understanding about the peace, about their doing things for the climate change adaptation or mitigation or combating. For MCC particularly, what we are doing, just to mention something, for climate change and action and peace, this is a current slogan for MCC that we would like to do. And MCC is touching the areas like we are doing our activities through partnership, through church partner, church-based organizations, and regular NGOs. We are focusing the people who are landless. We are focusing the people, especially the women, or primary beneficiaries there. We are working with the minority people. Where there is inequity, we are working for them. And we are attaching the youths for our activities to get them better understanding so that they can get a good life in future. Awareness we are developing through many ways. Linkages we are doing with government, non-government institutions. And obviously, through our projects, we are doing something that is about gender and development things. Currently, about 15 projects we are doing, and we are attached with 16,000 households. Just to show actually, the blue circles are our offices in the country, and the red circles are areas are our project areas where we are located. just for sharing actually what we are doing with them. Mostly we are focusing on climate adaptive technologies so that they can learn, they can combat with their situation, with the struggle, with the disaster. We are teaching them about peace things, for family peace, for social peace, through the yard meeting and other arrangement like workshop, other things. Some adaptation technologies like vermicompost we have, hanging garden we have, floating garden, 3D vegetable garden, pitcher irrigation. All these technologies we are using. Like we have duck rearing, we are supporting health camp services, health services for the pregnant women especially and malnourished children. Also distributing food recyclings, goat rearing on trellis that is we have. We are supporting for the community seed bank, and we are doing linkage with government and non-government people to get some solutions. And that is actually, we are talked to. Some challenges that still we feel. The community who are suffering still, as a MCC, we are covering very small percentage, maybe less than 1. But what is about the other remaining percentage? How we are thinking, how we can attach them through our activities. This is challenges actually. Also government has some commitment, has some sign with the IPCC or has something, but sometimes already they have signed, but they're not in action. So how we can communicate with them for their actions to the people so that people can some help. But it is not too easy because the dealings with the government, it is not always an easy task. So it is kind of challenges to us. And obviously that we see always MCC supporters, especially who donates. And you people are here, who are the future for the world. So our question actually to you, that how we can, what is our hope, how we can prepare ourselves to help those people who are in the same world, but in different parts of the world. This is actually all about my short presentation. Thank you for your patience hearing. Dhanyabad in Bangla.
Good morning. How are we? It's been a couple of years since last I was in college. And yes, I think it's a good feeling being back here and seeing all the announcements. It seems like you guys are enjoying your time in college, right? Yeah. I'll take about 15 minutes again for my presentation, and I hope today we can take away more than points and go away with some knowledge as well, right? Yes. So my name is David Waiswa again. I work with MCC in the East African Sahel region as Peace Advocacy and M&E Coordinator. That's a very long title. Yes, next. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, so just a bit about my family. I'm happily married. That's my wife Lillian and our lovely boy Isaiah. He made 8 months. He's so big, he loves food, so he's quite bigger than 8 months. Yeah. Just about where I work, and to just bring you a bit, kind of like show you a picture of what Africa is. I'm pretty sure many of us haven't traveled there. But MCC does work in 15 countries, currently 14 in Africa. So they range from down here in Botswana all the way up to Nigeria. But I won't go about that in the interest of time. But yes, we are working in 15 countries. And yeah, we are happy to be there. So just a bit about facts about climate change and conflict. One is that the highest greenhouse gas emitters include, of course, countries like China, the United States, India, Russia, and Japan, and many other countries. And of course, these have very large populations, heavy industry, and high fossil fuel use. But the most climate vulnerable countries are again more of the least developed countries. These could include countries like Chad, South Sudan, Ethiopia, Mozambique, Bangladesh that he talked about, and many other countries. And they face so many things. High rising sea levels, I think RF has really elucidated that, droughts, floods, and stronger storms, while contributing very little to global emissions. Most of the vulnerable countries again depend on agriculture and have limited resources to adapt, and that is a big challenge. I think in 2024 the United States had more people that were displaced as a result of disaster, but at the end of the year I think it had over 1 million people, but by the end of the year usually they are settled back, there are quite good social safety nets, the adaptations, the government is coming in to support, and that doesn't happen very much for some of the countries, most of the least developed countries. So you find that by the time someone is displaced, at the end of the year, they are probably in a more worse situation. Climate change does increase the risk of conflict by reducing food and water supplies. It damages economies in so many ways. People can't basically earn. RF talked about issues around unemployment, and that happens everywhere. It does force people to migrate, and of course scarcity of resources oftentimes leads to competition and violence, while disasters weaken governments and create instability that armed groups exploit. The countries that emit the most greenhouse gases are usually not the ones that suffer the worst impacts. So just to show you a bit of pictures there, that's a picture I took in Chad last year in December. And that is in a refugee camp in Chad that is hosting Sudanese refugees. And you can see this line of jerry cans without people. That's because they are lining up to get water that is not there. So they've basically booked spaces for when they'll get water. But then these are people that are in a context that has host communities or people that basically welcome refugees in their communities. And in many contexts, I've seen that leading to conflict. I've worked with refugees in Uganda, and there is one where they had kind of like more like a local video hall, something like this. And these two young men fought over a seat. Someone was saying, no, this is my seat. The other one said, no, I was seated here. I just went out for a bit. Before we knew, we had 10 dead bodies right there because of a seat. So you can imagine what could happen or what happens with the necessities of life again. That is another picture of children again in that same camp, and basically still showing you more of the same situation around resources. We need to know that also usually climate change and conflict affect women and children disproportionately. So in many contexts, we have over 80% of the affected people being women and children. In the refugee settlements, I mean, that is always the kind of like range of population. You have maybe about 20% men and youths, but usually you have at least 80% being women and children. In terms of what data shows us, is that most countries are reporting both conflict and disaster displacement over the years. And in law, we say recipsa locita, facts speak for themselves. So you can see from 2009 to 2024, the number has been increasing. And in just 2024 globally, all but 4 of the 49 countries and territories where conflict displacements were identified also recorded disaster displacements. But for Africa, all the 23 countries that recorded conflict displacements also registered movements triggered by disasters, and many times this is affecting the same people. So there is data to show that. In terms of our approaches as MCC, to kind of like address what I termed as climate security, I didn't explain that, but that is more of the intersection between climate change and conflict, is one, we are undertaking holistic approaches, and basically we are looking at implementing programs or projects that address both climate change and conflict at the same time. So initially we had what you call siloed approaches, where you come in and you're addressing food insecurity, you come in and you're addressing conflict. That has changed for us right now. We are coming in with one project with a different outcomes, one on peace, one on food security and livelihood, and just trying to address problems coherently, because again, these problems are interrelated in so many ways. And that has well changed within our priority areas. The other bit there is around governance, peace building, and early warning. Governance basically focuses on adaptations that strengthen policies and systems that help prevent and resolve conflict, but also manage shared resources. And of course, peace building that looks at, it could look at conflict resolution, it could look at peace education, it could look at restorative justice. Early warning, basically, you're looking at creating systems that act as smoke detectors for conflict. I guess we have smoke detectors in our rooms, right? Yeah. So, yes, smoke detectors for conflict. Basically, you have, for example, in one of the countries that we work in, that is Chad, we have an organization that has set up different committees that support to look out for, situations that could cause conflict, and then, of course, they raise that with the particular authorities if they can't handle that, and that is addressed in time. The other bit there is around environmental rehabilitation and enhancement. We understand that in many contexts, the environment has been degraded. We can't say beyond repair, because many times we can do something. So you're not even going to help coming in with like a food security, something that is focusing on agriculture program, without supporting them rehabilitate the environment. It will probably be a waste of time. So with that is just one of the areas that we work in. That was a picture taken 2 years back. It has a lot more tree growth right now because of the trees that we've been able to plant with our partners there. So basically with that particular place, yes, again, we are doing food security and livelihood. We are addressing structural violence in terms of gender discrimination, and that has worked out well, working with mostly women in that community. So that is just a group of women from there that basically have tree nursery beds, and they've distributed a lot of these in their communities, and been able to plant them in different spaces. The other part focuses on resilience strengthening. Basically, we focus on livelihood dimensions affected by climate and environment change, first and foremost. But also many times we try to diversify, and basically we work around village savings and loans groups, where people are put together, save up some money, borrow that money, and they're able to do different other businesses within their communities. So that has worked out well for us, and it's been amazing working with some of the communities that we again work with. That is just a story of one of the project participants. In terms of humanitarian and development language, we no longer say beneficiaries, but yes, just one of the project participants that we've worked with, and she's been able to reap a lot from the project. She lost her husband because of hunger, like hunger-related diseases, and she's participated in one of our projects in Uganda in one area called Karamoja, and she's been able to, do well for herself and adapt, and of course, make sure she has food to feed her children. In terms of some of the challenges that we do face as an organization, and again, for those that are probably very much interested in this subject, it could be things that you could start thinking about in terms of innovations. One is the limited scale of adaptation, and we are saying many climate and resilience interventions are too small to match the speed and size of climate-related threats. So you have very big issues that you're addressing, but when you look at many of our projects, for example, MCC has many projects that range between 20,000 to 100,000 US dollars for a 3-year project. So that can tell you how much you can probably do with that kind of money and the magnitude of issues that RF has, for example, shared about. The other bit around managing complexity across systems. So climate security is very interconnected around livelihoods, around environments, governance and conflict, and many other issues, health and education. So many times breaking issues into sectors makes them easier to manage, but often leads to siloed solutions with limited overall effect. So we've tried to do a multi-sectoral approach with our partners, but of course it is a hard one. It is a new concept that many organizations are basically learning and are taking on basically. So it hasn't been very easy. There's a lot to learn on our side as MCC, but even from many other organizations. So it hasn't been an easy one again. Then the other part there is short-term projects versus long-term problems. So climate and conflict risks are long-term and deeply linked. So usually we do have short project cycles that cannot address root causes or sustain integrated solutions at the needed scale. But as kind of maybe a counter argument to this is that, for example, MCC gets to work with many of its partners for a very long time, 10 years, 20 years, and in some of the places we've worked for really that long, but does it make it seem like we are not doing anything? We actually are, we are changing lives, but the problems still persist. So at what point do you think you've done enough? And at what point do you think they still need to address certain other things probably within that community? And then of course, lastly, there is the missing links between the environment and conflict. And we are saying resilience programs may improve livelihoods, but often overlook conflict drivers or environmental restoration. And the same is true for environmental projects that often ignore poverty, but also ignore inequality that fuels both degradation and violence. And one such project that is addressing this problem is the project I talked about that is doing environmental enhancement and rehabilitation. But that is a $2 million project. We don't have many of those. It is funded by the Canadian Food Grains Bank, so it is not exactly MCC internal funding, and we don't have many of those that address, issues at that scale. So that is still a challenge, but yes, I guess we can only do whatever we can with the little we have. So lastly, there is just a verse that I want to leave us with. That is Romans 15 verses 13 that says, "Now may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, that you may abound in hope in the power of the Holy Spirit." I believe even in your normal days, many times it feels like so much is not going right. In the broader world context, yes, a lot is not going right. But most importantly, may we not lose in hope, more so if we are believers in Christ, and know that, yes, there is still power in the Holy Spirit. Thank you so much for listening, and it's been a blessing.
So it looks like we've got about 10 minutes for Q&A. There are microphones in the aisles. And while you're thinking of a question, would you mind just explaining the other stops that you have on the tour, like where you go from here and where else you'll be?
Wow. So I've been tracking the tour. I'm losing track of days because I'm working every day, yeah? So, well, we started out in California. I can't go into these places. And then, yes, Oregon. And then we are here, right? Colorado. Oh, God, it's so many places. Now we're in Kansas. And then we moved to Indiana. Yes, Ohio, and then DC. Yes, quite a number of places. So yeah, it's an interesting tour, but yeah, we're getting tired, I guess. We do welcome comments as well. They don't have to be questions. Something that probably stuck with you, something that is new to you, something that you've learned. It would be interesting to hear that as well.
How has the abolition or the abolishment of USAID affected your work?
Maybe Arif could start.
Yeah, thank you for your questions. Actually, for the development sector, especially that I can say for my country and my region, that is after stopping the USAID fund, it has affected a lot the community and the person who are doing job. Actually, kind of the flow we had in the development sector to work for the people, the flow has been reduced. And there are some commitment between the organizations and project participants. But suddenly it has been stopped. Kind of things that is unfair means or unfair thing that is unfair things happen to the community people. Obviously, they are a sufferer, and that's why they have been selected. But a sudden decision actually has impacted negatively in many ways. But we are lucky that for MCC projects, as it is not by the government, so still we are happy to continue that with the community people. Though it is small fun, but we are happy with that. Yeah, thank you.
And maybe how that affects our work is that it has created a lot of competition with our partners and with the little funds that we have because of the gaps that are left in the communities. Yes, yes, sure.
Thank y'all so much for y'all's presentation. I was wondering if it's been hard being away from y'all's families.
Has it been hard being away from our families? Did I hear that well? Was that the question? What was the question? That was the question. Our families. Oh, interesting. Yes, it's been very hard.
That is, I would like to share, it is really tough for David because David's son is very small. I mean, he's 8 months, so he has a big affection at this moment actually. But my daughter and my son, they're somewhat tolerable. I mean, they're somewhat used to, and they can manage actually their time. So, but really we feel. Yeah, thank you.
So my question is that for your work, do you have any sort of faith or beliefs that tie into your work?
Oh, yeah, sure. So one is that we work with the Mennonite Central Committee, which is a... I'm sorry. Yeah, so which is a faith-based organization, and definitely we are underpinned by the values and mission and vision of the Anabaptist Church. Yes. Yeah, but definitely we do have our own faiths. I'm Seventh-day Adventist, I'm not Mennonite. So that kind of like grounds me, but definitely yes. Arif is a Muslim, so that grounds him as well, but yeah.
Just, I will be happy to share that from his question, our driving force actually the faith. The faith is from Mennonite Central Committee, what they believe, what is in their faith, their ethnics, their norms. That is a driving force for our project. And what is coming actually from God to Bible to prophet to the people that we follow. And I am a Muslim man. And I am doing work with Mennonite community since 2003. It is about 23 years with Mennonite Central Committee. The question is how? And the answer is it matches with me, with my beliefs, with my faith, and with my desire. So that's why I'm here. And we are happy with that actually. Yeah, thank you.
Was this your dream job growing up? And if not, what was the path that brought you here, and are you happy?
Sorry, I'm not sure I got that.
Was this your dream job?
Oh, okay.
And if not, what was the path that brought you to this position?
Yeah. Wow, interesting question. Yeah. So I think this path chose me. I didn't choose it. I'm a lawyer. So my dream job was to always be a lawyer, that's definite. And then in terms of working in the humanitarian and development context, going through college or university, I thought I would turn out to be a commercial lawyer. Well, they're usually sleek, they earn a lot better, they drive nice cars. Yeah, but somehow I visited one of the places in my country, that is the northern part of Uganda that had war for over 20 years. And what I interfaced, that was my first time visiting after school, law school. And when I visited, what I saw really, there's just a lot that I couldn't just, blind myself to the reality of what people were going through. And that's how I started with forming an organization, and then later joined mainstream organizations working with refugees and vulnerable communities. And then I'm here in MCC. Am I happy? Very happy. I love working with people, so yes. Yeah.
Can I share short? Yeah, that is amazing questions. Actually, we didn't face this sort of questions in our previous days for this tour. Yeah. For my case, actually, after my master's, I started one job that is as a lecturer for the Department of Entomology with one science and technology university, but it was only for a few weeks. I thought that I will switch my job from that place to another university, but suddenly it didn't happen. But in the middle, I got job with MCC. I thought I will be here for maybe 6 months or 1 year, then I will switch to another organization. But the environment of MCC, the faith of MCC, the work style of MCC, that actually really messed with me. And finally, I thought it is the place from where actually I can continue my work. And you believe that it is 23 years continuously, not intermingle, but continuously I am doing my job. So really, we are happy to be a part of MCC. Yeah, thank you.
So you guys have a lot of projects that you work on in your areas, and I'm curious, what would be, if you had to focus on just one thing in each of your areas, what would be the most beneficial?
Yeah, thank you. We have a lot of projects and with different teams through different sectors. Like in our country, the major sectors are food security and livelihood sector. Another one is education sector, and another one is peace sector. But through all the sectors, the main theme and the main slogan, the strategic direction is climate action for peace. Through all projects that we're looking for, some solution that is climate action and peace. Whatever changes are happening throughout the country, we are using some glasses to see that what is happening for climate change, what we can do, and how peace can be a part of that integration for the people, for their peaceful life in future. Yeah, thank you.
Interesting question. Maybe I'll just quote for us a quote from the late Kofi Annan, former UN Secretary General, that says there is no development without peace and there is no peace without development. So the two definitely interrelate. I look at climate change even then as a development issue because many of the things that are being caused, again, it's more around development, fossil fuel use and whatever. So if there's anything, it would probably be the relationship between peace and development in a way, that intersection. And again, climate action for peace, I think, just summarizes it that way.
Well, let's thank our speakers one more time as our Convo scanners come to the front. If you would like to continue the conversation, we will have a table in the cafeteria that students are welcome to sit with us and continue to explore questions. But otherwise, thank you so much, and you're dismissed.